Very excited and happy to have Mr. Ken Green here. Mr. Ken Green is an author as well as many other things which he's going to share with you today. So I ask first of all that our Roosevelt students represent ourselves the proper way. Okay, so please do not talk during Mr. Green's presentation today. He has a lot to share with you, and we don't have a lot of time, and there will be time for questions afterward. So please be on your best behavior. I'm now going to turn this over to Miss Licciardi, our librarian. I can wait. Thanks. I'm going to turn this over to Miss Licciardi, our librarian, who has been so gracious to host this event today. And we want to give Miss Licciardi a big round of applause for putting this together today.
Thank you all very much. It's a beautiful day, and welcome all of you, our distinguished guests, the alumni, faculty, students. It's wonderful for you to be here. Today we're honored to have with us author Kenneth Green. Mr. Green will share stories and excerpts from his new book entitled I'm from Division Street. His turbulent boyhood years growing up in Humboldt Park gave him the grit and motivation to be the success that he is today. Now a noted author, he is also a lawyer, listed with the Super Lawyers of California, a boxer who has been inducted into the California Boxing Hall of Fame, a Korean War veteran. He just told me he's also been made a police officer, and most dear to our hearts is he's a former Roosevelt High School student and graduate. So please give him a warm welcome, Mr. Kenneth Green.
Thank you both for that very kind introduction. First, where's lovely DeGio? She here? She will come back? I wanted to thank her for the kind comment she wrote about me in the newspaper. How's the mic? Can you hear me okay?
This is lovely. Let's give Lovely a big round of applause. Oh, let's have herself.
Thank you, lovely. Thank you for what you wrote. All right, I'm here today because I want to pass something on to you. Because 60 years ago, I sat right where you're sitting. Yeah, you. I thought the same things you think. I heard the same things you hear. And I'm here to tell you how to be successful. Is there anybody here who doesn't want to be successful? Of course not. Now, what happened to me is I was just like you, except for one thing. I got thrown out. See, I thought that I was a tough guy. I thought that I knew more than my teachers, and so I didn't go to school. I was playing hooky all the time. And one day, the party was over. And the principal called me in, and he said, "You're out. You're thrown out." I felt like a chump. I felt like a fool. And I was embarrassed for what I did to my mother and my father. So my permit was revoked because I lived in Humboldt Park. I was here on a permit. And I went to another high school called Thule, which is now Roberto Clemente. I was very unhappy. And about 4 months later, I called the principal and I said, "Please take me back. I'll do better." And he said, "I'll tell you what I'll do for you. If you get a B average, if you go to school every day, if you don't have any tardies, I'll take you back." He took me back. My grades were so bad. I had all F's and D's. I don't know what they use today, but F's and D's, not good. I didn't go to summer school, so finally I graduated here at Roosevelt. It took me 4.5 years. And I was not proud of myself. And I thought that I'm heading right for the toilet. And then my best buddy said to me, "We're never going to go to high school, to college. Why don't we join the Army?" I said, okay. And so we joined. And we went in on the buddy system. The buddy system only lasted through basic training. And my friend was sent to Texas to be a cook, and I went to Korea. Did any of you ever hear of Korea? That's where I went. I was 18 years old. And by the way, there was anti-Semitism where I grew up, my Humboldt Park, because I'm Jewish. When I was growing up, we had guys who would call me bad names, dirty Jew, stuff like that. And I would come home, I'd tell my father, these guys want to beat me up because I'm Jewish. What should I do? And my father said, well, you know, you can't run and you can't negotiate with them because if they're that ignorant, you're wasting your time. He said, so you're going to have to learn how to fight. So I can fight. I know how to throw a nice left hook. In fact, I'm in the California Boxing Hall of Fame. I've sparred with world champions. Anybody here who know who Manny Pacquiao is? I know him. Shane Mosley, De La Hoya, Mike Tyson. I know a lot of these guys. James Toney. But, so I got to Korea, just a little background, and I'm in a truck, and the truck driver is driving me up the side of a mountain to my outfit, which was near the demilitarized zone. And he pointed to a hut. It was a Quonset hut. There was no water. To drink water, we would have to put a pill in a polluted pond. There was no electricity. Very primitive. And I walked into this hut, and it was a Sunday. There were no officers around. And there were about 8 guys in there, and I saw an empty bunk, and I got up on the bunk, and I'm reading a magazine that I bought in Tokyo at the PX. And within a couple of minutes, some guy walks up to me, and he said, hey man, he said, are you from Chicago? You must have seen my personnel file. I said, I am. He said, what do they do in Chicago besides get run over by trucks and get shot at? This guy was from the South. And I knew pretty soon it's going to be on. You know what I mean when I say it's going to be on? It's coming. Now, I'm thinking, what am I going to do when it starts? I could run, but then I'll end up in North Korea. That's no good. I can't negotiate with the guy. And then he started pushing my bunk. I almost fell off. And he said, hey, Jew, show me your tail. And so I decided I'm not going to do that. So I took good care of him. He went to the hospital. When he got out, he was my man. He's never going to bother anybody again. But that's a little side note. I came home from Korea. I was 20 years old. And my father spoke broken English. He came from Poland. And my father left Poland before Hitler got there. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. And my father talked to me in Jewish. And he said, what are you going to do with your life? And I said, well, Dad, I think I want to do what you do. My father was a house painter. He said, you know, it's a pretty tough life. You're going to come home every day. You're going to have paint in your eyes. You're going to have fumes in your lungs. He says, why don't you be a lawyer? I said, I can't be a lawyer. I got thrown out of high school. And by the way, I never read a book until I went to college. Well, I got lucky. I had a good father. You know what he told me? He said, you could do it. He said, you're better. Nobody is better than you. He said, you could be president of the United States. And I believed him. He said, be a lawyer. I said, no, Dad, I want to do what you do. I want to be a painter. He said, okay, buddy, tomorrow you start. And he had me painting closets in the projects. And I came home on the 3rd day, I was covered with paint. And I said, Pop, guess what? I'm going to be a lawyer. Now, I had to come up with a plan because we were poor. We had no money. And I'm thinking, how could I become a lawyer if we're poor? So I came up with a plan, and I said to my father, it's going to take